Hey friends, it's Jay from Jasmine's Astrology, and today's lunar forecast sees the moon meeting with Mars over at 18 degrees of Cancer. The moon is at home in Cancer, so this is a time of the month when we might feel better equipped to nurture ourselves and those around us, or when we might feel that we're just a little bit more in tune with our moods and emotions, and that it feels more natural to kind of let them be our guide throughout the day. And it can also be a kind of like tender and sensitive time because all of those moods and emotions are more front and center in our minds and in our hearts. At this stage of the lunar cycle, the moon is very close to being full. And so there could also be an energy of feeling like we're building towards something, that something is close. We have almost reached some kind of peak or destination. Even if we're not exactly sure what that peak or destination might be, we're having these feelings of like needing to keep working on something, to keep developing it, to keep refining it, keep improving it so that it is just so when we get there, wherever there might be. And in this context, it might be as simple as like you're meal prepping for the week ahead, or you're doing a little bit of a clean around the house to make sure that your space is comfortable in a way that supports both your physical and emotional body. Now, when the moon meets with Mars, there can be feelings of impatience. We might have a really strong desire to push forward with something, to take some kind of action around something. Moon Mars days are usually times when we get like a nice little boost of momentum, or we feel ready to like take the initiative around something, maybe even take some sort of bold or confident step forward. However, Mars is still very much retrograde on this Moon Mars day in particular. And retrograde, of course, is like, it's the backwards motion. And we have Mars and the moon in Cancer, a sign that is also very much about drawing us towards the past, or it can be about drawing us towards the past. And so I think there's a very reflective and ruminating energy to today. I think that this Mars moon meetup might be about realizing that there are still some old wounds, some old scars, some old baggage that needs tending to and healing before we can fully move forward with something. Facing those old hurts head on might be the kind of developing and improving that is necessary at this stage in the lunar cycle. Letting something go, because Mars really can help us to cut away from things that we no longer need. So letting something go and allowing ourselves to kind of cut the cord on something, so to speak, might be the best thing that we can do to refine before we get to that full moon. And something that I heard my yoga teacher say this morning was about learning to sit in discomfort. Like we were sitting in poses for a bit longer than usual and kind of learning to just sit there and be present and breathe through it. And it made me think about this Moon Mars conjunction and the idea of like getting better at sitting in what's uncomfortable, learning to breathe through it and trying not to just want to power forward into the next pose or into the next thing or whatever it might be. I think there's a real strength that can be gained from that practice. And even though it's maybe not the kind of strength that Mars is super into, it is retrograde right now. So there's something to do with, or there's something here, there's an invitation here to do something differently. And it might be especially difficult because Moon Mars combinations can definitely mean that we are more easily poked, more easily triggered. So we definitely want to watch our tempers and our reactions. But if nothing else, Mars loves a challenge. So I think we can step up to this challenge today and just learn to sit with what's uncomfortable, breathe through it, think about what we need to let go in order to move forward, and I don't know, have a cookie or have a food that you really love for a bit of comfort today. That's all I've got. Thanks so much for watching. Until next time, I'll catch you on the cosmos.